Hey yo everybody, how are you all doing today, and welcome back to part number 6 and the last part of my SSX free all-peak race speedrun guide. In today's episode we will be covering the last part of the run. We will be going through Blue Station and Metro City, which is one of the most technical tracks in the run. So last time we left off we got Super Uber either a little bit earlier or on this rail depending on our skill level slash whether we need a backup, but basically, just continue here, make your way around here, grab this rail, and then, so Blue Station Skip is coming up. If you don't do Blue Station Skip, you want to grab this log right here. You want to grab this log if you don't get Blue Station Skip. If you do get Blue Station Skip, do not get this log. Right? So, for Blue Station Skip, my best tip is boost, like tap boost as you're approaching Blue Station Skip, and then let go completely when you're about to do it. Basically what you do is you turn left sharply, but not so sharply that you go too far left. And then you hold jump for a little bit and you let go at just the right time so that you make it over there. It will work just fine if done right, and very nice Blue Station Skips look very smooth indeed. Basically, you want to make sure you avoid all of these obstacles, so it's a practice thing. If Blue Station Skip is one of the trickiest parts of the run, and loses you 9 seconds if you fail, so I would avoid Blue Station Skip until I'm aiming for sub 18 or at least sub 18:30. As you can see, I barely got it in this run. When you succeed, you can select when you get up here and you wait until you're kind of close to the edge. Don't select warp the instant you land. It will not work and you'll spawn back. Right, so there are two ways you can do this. You can do a jump strat here where you jump over this rock and onto the rail, or you can just ride up here and ride the rail like this. Much safer. The other route saves maybe half a second. Jump over here, like you can go around this if you absolutely don't feel comfortable with this, but it's a pretty easy strat. Just jump between this rock and the tree, and you will find yourself down here, at which point you grab this rail, and you grab the next rail. You might get launched off to the right here if that happens, just don't mind it, it kind of just happens every now and again. If done right, you will end up on this rail, and then you just plain press jump and you jump off this rail right here. If this is too high skill of a maneuver for you to do, don't bother with any of these rails. Just go on the side of them and then go through this gap between these rails right here to make it to the main path after this section. Right? Jump up on this bench if you feel comfortable doing so. If you fall, it's 6 seconds, so if you don't feel comfortable doing it, just ride off this drop normally. It's much safer to do it like that. Right, just make your way towards Metro. Not much to commentate about this. I'll just remove the mouse. Right, so if you somehow manage to mess this up and not get this path, that's a 5 mistake. That's a big deal. So you have to try to go between this tree and the building and go roughly where the rail starts. Don't try getting on the rail like here, because you might wipe out and get selected out, which would be horrible. So get on the rail. To save the absolute most amount of time, jump off the rail and do a trick in the air. If you're not an expert runner, you probably just want to ride the rail and get on this rail as you get there normally, instead of jumping on it and hoping to land on it. That's relatively inconsistent for like medium tier runners, so pick that one up when you feel like you're ready for it, pretty much. Right, what you want to do here is you want to hold the rail trick long enough, and then when you're done holding the rail trick, you want to start holding jump and holding left right as you land. That will allow you to get on this rail, which will allow you to just jump off it. If you jump off it early enough, it'll work just fine. If you can't do this right, because it's pretty tricky to do, what you want to do is you want to jump off this rail. You want to not boost for the entirety of this rail, and you just want to jump off this rail and go through here. It's a tight fit and you might get selected out, so beware. Right, so if you jump there and you do a couple of jumps, then you'll have 4 tricks here. Oh crap. You don't have to have 4 tricks here, it's just nice. You'll be fine even if you only have 2 tricks here. So it's not that big of a deal at all. Right, next step, get the first phone booth. I get good spawn in this run. This is how good spawn looks. If you get bad spawn, which is the other spawn, there are only 2 spawns. The odds of each spawn for this one, the booths are random as far as we're aware. It's RNG. It's 80% for good spawn and 20% for bad spawn. So most of the time you will get good spawn here. So you shouldn't sweat it too much, but if randomness decides to screw you over, that's a 2 mistake. Well, it's a 2 time loss. It can be a 3 if you make other mistakes as a result too, which would be a big deal as well. Get on these balcony rails if you don't feel comfortable doing uber tricks on them, because, see, you can hit this lamppost right here and you can get selected out, and if you don't have super at this point, that's a run killer. Or at least it has serious potential to be a run killer. So if you don't feel comfortable with that, just ride normally and don't do any uber tricks. Grab this rail right here. Make sure you hold right enough to stay on the rail and not get launched off to the side. 2 options here, or actually a multitude of options. You can do what I do, go off here and jump and get this billboard. For anywhere between newbie and expert, however, you probably want to go right here, jump early before you get to the edge, and then hold up on the left stick instantly. And if done right, you'll just grab onto the billboard rail and go right into the second phone booth. If you don't do that, or if you don't feel good doing that, jump up and do a hand plant and hold the hand plant long enough so that you will land directly back on the rail up there when done right. So you end up on these billboard rails right here, and then go through second booth, where I got good second booth in this run. The odds of good second booth are between 5 and 15%, probably around 10% most likely, where you'll get bad spawn roughly 90% of the time. If you get bad spawn, wait about half a second after getting it, then select. That's faster, and then after you select, grab the rail on the left side of you. If you get good spawn, try your best not to panic, because good spawn is super rare and can get you incredibly hype. And don't boost and turn a little bit to the right. What you want to make sure is that you don't end up on the left side of this and that you don't hit this tree. Because if you do those mistakes, the time gain you just gained from getting good spawn is suddenly slipping away between your fingers. Right, just go over here. Some people think it's faster to do this rail. It is not. We have confirmed that getting this rail is slower, so just go across the jump like I did, pretty much. You don't have to jump if you don't want to. It's a little bit faster, but... Alright, grab this rail, follow it all the way through. Turn here. Make sure you don't end up back here. That can happen if you're not turning sharply enough. Grab this rail, follow it all the way through. Go around this little mound right here. You don't want to actually ride just plain off of that, as it's going to make it hard to get a rail that's coming up. So take the outer take the outer lane on that one. Here's another rail you won't know where it is until you're actually on the rail, but hold roughly this angle. If you don't feel comfortable doing this, you can grab this rail, which is much easier to get, but this rail is some 2 seconds faster than that rail pretty much. And then you get this rail as well if done right. Hold left, or not hold left, but like tap left a little bit off of the first rail to grab this one. If it doesn't work, you're a little bit too far right. You can also let go of boost to make it even easier. Right, third booth. This is an important section and requires quite a bit of setup. If you miss third booth, it's at least 17 seconds lost and has potential to be as much as 20 without making any additional mistakes. So line yourself up roughly like this, and be boosting all the time and hold jump and jump as you're approaching this first marker right here. If you jump too late, it will be hard to get the boop, and if you jump too early, you won't get there. And you have to jump at roughly this angle because there's a fairly small area you can land in. As you can see, you have to land in this, and then you have to make it into the phone booth as well. If you land up here and you miss the phone booth, you're going to be reset down there. So that's going to lose you like 20 seconds. So, grab the phone booth. If you miss this, just go through the upcoming section, break the glass, and grab the rails. Just follow the rails down to this section. Right? Here, just hold jump and boost, and make sure you're centered for this final rail right here. Change your hitbox, like hold your board, or hold the left stick to a direction to tilt the hitbox a little bit so that you get a more horizontal hitbox. Increase your odds of grabbing onto this rail. Grab this rail, do whatever, and then two things you can do here. You can either slow down prior to this so you won't hit any of these bars, or you can go full tilt, hold boost and jump, but let go of boost a little bit before you start getting air. If you do that right, you can get between these bars, like I do here, and save some time. But if you're not comfortable with that, and I would not blame you for not being, this is a pretty difficult trick as well, then just slow down and take it coolly, and that's pretty much the run. Alright, congratulations on finishing your run. Especially if it's your first time, it most likely won't be a 16:58 as this run, but as you play the runs, and as you complete runs, and as you get better as a player, you will start getting better times. And a good goal for a starting runner is anything below 20 minutes. After that, it starts getting pretty hard to shave off seconds. I can... how would I explain it? Okay, so let's say, when it comes to shaving off seconds, let's say we arrange that on a difficulty scale of 1 to 100. Shaving each individual second between 25 minutes and 20 minutes is between 1 to 5 out of 100. Shaving between 20 and 90 is roughly 20 on the difficulty scale. Shaving between 19 and 18 is 50. Shaving between 18 and 17, which is where most top runners are in that area, like low to mid 17s, it's like a 70, and then shaving basically from 17 to 1650 is about 90, and shaving anywhere below that is pretty much 100. The ideal perfect run right now, from a human perspective, that a human could ever do, granted both big skip and good phone booth spawns, is 1641 if you include some extreme strategies, and 1644 if you don't. And that's pretty much it. So I wish you all the best of luck in trying to learn this category. I hope this video series has been informative and helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below, and I will try my very best to get back to you with a satisfactory answer. If you have a question that requires like video or picture to make it easier for me to understand what you're talking about, feel very free to include that as well. Alright, that's about it. And yeah, just go down that mountain as many times as you can. Doing no reset runs for this category and watching other top level players play this game is a surefire way to get better. I will link certain known streamers and YouTubers in the description so that you can get better at the game, including freestyle players, as freestyle is somewhat useful in this run as well. But that is quite literally it for my explanation of this run. So, once again, I hope you've all enjoyed. Thank you all so much for watching, and best of luck learning this category. Have an absolutely bang up day, take care, and goodbye.